Hello, everybody. We are live now, starting our webinar 2 for our hackathon. We have some interesting news for now that we are streamlining the process to make it simpler. You can send your word directly through a landing page that we're creating. We're separating from the Yarn program, and we have extended the deadlines for December 10th. So we have a lot of people asking for more time, and we're doing these adjustments. So this is what these are the best news. We're sending the links for the new signups and submissions in earlier later this week. But yeah, that's it for now. Let's go with Vitor. Please let us show us the advanced features for anitya to make it the words more complex and having higher chances of winning the prizes.
So my name is Vitor. If this is the first time that you're seeing our webinar, I'm a 3D designer here and also a game designer in Anitya. And the last webinar, we started talking about how to import your objects, how to do the basic navigation inside of Anitya, how to create assets using AI, how to upload assets. And today we are going to be talking about a step further, which is how to make the gamifications inside of Anitya, basically teaching our trigger system and also showing a little bit of our smart elements components that you can use to create all the gamifications that you want. I will be sharing here now the screen with a project the same project that I started the last webinar. So in the last webinar, we created those houses here and these dock, also this wooden platform. And I also placed this terrain and those trees, and we thought how to make it in Anitya, how to play it, how to share. And now we're going to be talking about how to make some very easy animations using a state system and how to create this game where you need to achieve something in order to continue your gameplay. So in here, basically, we have those crocodiles, and each of those is using a move rotate scale component. I am going to show in the editor how to do it. It's basically a state system where you can set up different states. And a cool thing about Anitya is in one object, in one entity, you can attach a lot of things. So each of these crocodiles has also a teleport entity, a teleportation entity with the destination set it up to this place that I am standing up right now. I have an empty entity, and I am going to show this in the editor, but I have an empty entity in here that I'm using as the destination of this teleportation. And why did I do it? To create this checkpoint system where if I touch any of the crocs, I will come back to this previous point. This is a very simple setup. Of course, I wanted to use only very not heavy assets, like very light assets, lightweight assets, without animation, just to like showcase in here. But you can do it. You can create teleportations. You can add these teleportations to other entities and animate them, and then you can create checkpoint systems like this one. Sometimes you want to teleport to another place. But just to teach you guys how to do it, to teach the logic, this is how I set it up this one. A checkpoint in here. I need to pass through this river, and when I get in the other place, I can continue my experience, which is interacting with this lever in here. I forgot to turn on the audio, but I can do it. I have a music, a background audio playing, which I'm also going to be showing how to do it. And I also have some responsive audios that I'm triggering using some comments like this one in here. Okay. So with this very simple demonstration, I can already think about a few gamification types, game logics that you all can use in your scene. For example, I was having a meeting earlier with a user and I was talking about imagine a gameplay where you need to accomplish like very simple tasks and then you get to somewhere that triggers the rest of the map, and then you are always building the environment together with the game logic, with the user journey. So as you accomplish something, the other part of the map spawns, like we did it in here for those bridges. So that was a very, very simple game logic that I am showing to you all, just to teach the logic behind it, just to teach how the components work. Once you get how the components work, you can use it for several different situations that are completely different also from this one. But now let's open the editor so I can show how we set up this in Anitya. And you all feel free to jump in and interrupt if you have any doubt, because I don't see you in the Discord. I only see Anitya's screen. So it's actually better if you guys just jump in and ask questions if you want to. So, okay, I'm loading here the project. Okay, it's loaded. And as you can see, I have my spawn point in here. I have all my AI generated assets in here. Everything, every single thing in this scene are either from Anitya AI or from our default object. So I didn't even need to search for any resources outside of Anitya. I only built using Anitya from the beginning to the end. I never needed to go to another tab, search for a file or whatever. Everything in here was generated or was inside of Anitya defaults library. So in here, how I was showing in the preview, we have the wood platforms, they all with the collision on. This will make sure that we can walk in these objects. Let me close those tabs. I'm going to put on the low quality just to make it like a little bit smoother. And in here you have my first gaming assets, let's say like that. So as you can see, we have one 3D object, which is a crocodile. Inside of the same 3D object, actually inside of any, if I come here to my game mechanics folder, crocodiles, here it is my first crocodile. Inside of any element that you have in your elements menu, you can attach components to it. So I could attach a spatial 3D audio to this crocodile. I could attach a hyperlink to open something in another tab. I could attach a point light. I could attach another collision layer. I could attach, I don't know, anything that is in here, we can attach to we can add to an entity. So what I added first was the 3D object, which is the crocodile. Then I added this teleportation node. I'm gonna do it from scratch to you guys, but I'm just like showing the overall first. But then I attached a teleportation node. When you put a teleportation node, you need to toggle the visible collision, as you can see in here, so you can see the area that will make your avatar teleports. Basically, those collisions says, when I enter this area, when this area touches the avatar body, I will teleport to another place. And this other place is actually the destination, the destiny in here. And you actually can set up any entity in here to be my destination point. What I like to do is to create an entity from scratch, and you can do it by simply right clicking in the elements panel and creating a new entity. And then this entity, which is the checkpoint in here, I didn't added any component to it. It's just a transform. It's basically a location information. So I'm using this location information, which is this entity in here that I created, to be the destination of my teleportation. That says that when I touch this area, I'm going to be teleported to my checkpoint, which is in here. So I did the same thing for all those crocodiles. So all those crocodiles has its own teleportation. All the teleportations are sending me to the checkpoint. So if I try to cross this part and touch any of those crocodiles, I'll come back to my checkpoint, which is a very simple game logic, and Anitya enables you to do it very quickly. And so you can see it in all of the crocs. And also I attached a move rotate scale entity. The move rotate scale that you can also add it from here, move rotate scale, show hide, or rotator, or anything like that. It's basically a stage system that only changes the transform in here. Basically, it says that I have this stage 1 and this stage 2. And I can set up my stage. I'm gonna use the local space in here. I can set up those stages differently if I want. I can select the stage 1, set up the stage that I want, and the stage 2, set up the stage that I want. So in here, you have stage 1, stage 2. You can select the easy type. That basically says if this movement is going to be linear or if it's going to have a ease in that makes the beginning of the movement a little bit slower and then it gains velocity while the movement is occurring. I can say that is and is out, so starts with the normal speed and goes fading and decreasing the velocity while when it's approaching the stage 2. I can say if it's easy in and out, and this makes it slow speed, high speed, slow speed. And I also can set up the duration for each of those crocodiles. This duration is in seconds. I could use Anitya's trigger system that I will teach you in a moment to make this animation happen. But this specific move rotate scale, I wanted to play on load. I wanted to play on start. Basically, I want to load my scene and I want this to be playing and looping. So I just need to toggle the loop and the play on start. And as you see, if I toggle both, I'm having this auto-saving issue that the autosave never goes away. But basically, as you can see in here, it's faded in here, but you can see that when I uncheck it, the play on start, then it appeared my trigger configurations, but I'm having this bug and I need to refresh. But it's very quickly also. If this occurred to you, I know that one or another user already reported the same thing to us. It's just refreshing and they will come back and they will save the the change that you made. But we are already covering this issue. I know that maybe on our next update, you guys won't have this issue anymore. So let me come back here,
So,
select
Victor, just
crop.
trying to wrap it up, yo. So you created these crocodiles using the Anitya AI, and then you attached a component called Move Rotate Scale to them,
Yes,
and you selected the
yes,
stage
exactly.
one and the stage two, and now
Exactly.
in this the way you selected that for the animation, it's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna show
straight.
how to do it from the beginning also.
Great, great.
Just
Also, you
uh,
said
showing the
you
control.
can attach you can add a 3D audio component, which means like
I can,
I don't know what's the sound that a crocodile does, but if you could put a
but I
crocodile
could add the
sound and it
crocodile
would
audio.
move with the crocodile. Nice,
Yes, exactly.
great.
Like if I have like just to as a visualization of what Rodrigo is bringing, if I attach a spatial 3D audio in this crocodile, you'll see that I don't have a crocodile audio here right now, but I will put, I don't know, this ocean waves audio, for example. And if you toggle the show distance, you will be able to actually see the distance that this audio is playing. And when you are outside of this area, you won't hear it. And as you approach it, you will hear much closer this audio in here. Then you need like to loop to keep playing, and also autoplay. It will make plays from the beginning of the experience. But exactly, as you see, if I decrease a little bit my distance radius in here, and if I change the move rotate scale from one to another, the audio goes together with the crocodile. That means you can attach audios to moving things, and it's actually pretty fun because when you are in the experience and you hear something passing through you, like not through, but passing by your side, if it has a special 3D audio, you will not only hear it getting closer and then fading away, but you're also gonna hear a difference if you are more to the left or more to the right of this entity. So it's actually a very nice way to create immersion in your scene. Let me come back to here. And so basically, wrapping up, we have those crocs. They all are set up as the same thing. I put a different duration values. So each croc has a different velocity in the movement, and it doesn't get like very easy. And so this one, the duration is 4 seconds, this one the duration is 3 seconds, this one it's 5 seconds, and this one is the quickest one, is 2 seconds. So basically when I hit play in the scene, they will start making this animation. Okay, I had the issue again. And now I'm gonna show the lever. Okay, so when you reach to the other side, when you stop being hit by all those crocodiles and come back to the checkpoint, when you reach to the other side, you will find this lever in here. And this lever is actually, this is the only asset that I brought from outside Anitya. As you can see, every asset, every 3D object that you upload in Anitya that has an animation on it already set it up before bringing to Anitya, it will appear this component in here, which is the play embedded animation. It will show the animations layers that the asset has. You can select which animation you want to use in the scene, and you can also preview the animation here by hitting the play button or the stop button. You can also say the iterations. It means how many times it's going to play this animation after you trigger it. You can select it to play automatically and to be looped. After it plays one time, it's gonna loop forever. I didn't want any of those setups in here. Actually, I want the user to approach this lever, and then I want to appear a F pop-up, and when the user presses F, the animation should occur. And this is very simple. I basically have this lever here on my game mechanics group, and as you can see, it's very simple. I'm using the trigger entity, which says which is the trigger that is going to trigger this action. I'm using the lever itself, so you can drag it from here to here, but you don't need it. Like if you want to change this trigger to another one, imagine that you have a light that you need to turn on in a room, and then the light is on the roof, but the interrupter is on the wall. So this is a scene that you need the trigger to be detached from the light itself. So you select the interrupter to be the trigger, and then the light is going to be the action that is played. In this case, I want the lever to be its own trigger. So it's self. In here, I can see the visible collision if I want to. And what does it mean? This is just a debugging system, let's say like that. This shows the editor, shows to you what is the area that is going to trigger this action. So basically, when I approach this area in here, I will be able to trigger my lever animation. In this case, the trigger radius is up to 30, but I could decrease it if I wanted or increase it if I wanted. Sometimes you want a huge trigger radius, so you can trigger something from very far away. Sometimes you want the user to actually be very close to the trigger and then the trigger happening. Sometimes you want a very small trigger radius. In this case, I thought 30 was fine to me. This is something that you can easily set up. And I could also change between a sphere trigger or a box trigger. In that case, I'm using the sphere trigger. If I didn't select the interactable button in here, that is the interact key, the lever would play the animation like in the exact moment that my character entered this area. But I didn't want that. I wanted to actually add the F key step to it. I want my character to enter in this area and then appears the F key and then I press F and the animation happens. So you need to select the interactable option in here. And also, if you want this animation to only happen once, to only play once, this trigger to only works once, then you also need to click on the one shot in here. Basically, sometimes you want some animation to play every time that you press F. Imagine like the light that I said. You press the interrupter and then it turns on. You press it again, turns off. And then this is a type of trigger that you can like leave the one shot one unchecked. But in this case, I want this lever to only work once. So that's why I am tagging, I am checking the one shot toggle. And the make local, it's also very important for you all to know what does it makes. Make local means that this action in here, this animation of the lever, will only play locally. This means that this animation will only play in the machine of the player that is triggering it. So you can have 50 people in the scene. You can have 100 people playing the scene. But like when I trigger this, it will only play for me and not for everyone else. This is very good if you want to make like a game where you don't want one user to interrupt the journey of the other user, and anitya is multiplayer by default. So sometimes you have a world that you have a bunch of people together, but you want to play your game. So it's very important that you check the make local, because this will make the actions that are related to this trigger only play locally in the user machine. This is what the make local means. And the delay says how long will I wait after triggering this action for the action to happen. So in here, I want to happen instantly. I want to approach it, press F, play it. But if I wanted to press F, wait a little bit, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, this is in seconds, the value, then I should come here and put another value another value in here. I don't know if I think we didn't have everyone here when I played the play mode, so I'm gonna play again, and then I will continue showing the other steps of this game that it creates a bridge in here after I trigger this lever. But before I'm gonna show again the play mode so I can show what I am explaining now. So again, I'm gonna play the experience. And there's a spider in the wall right next to me. That's why I'm always looking to the wall, because I'm just waiting for the spider to jump in me. And like, so okay, here we are. Here we have the crocodiles, each one with the move, rotate, scale component that I showed, the two states. Each one has its own duration. Each one has also the teleports that brings me to the checkpoint that I showed before. So if I touch the crocodile, I come back to the checkpoint. Touch the other crocodile, come back again to the checkpoint. And now let me jump over it. Now, as you can see, I have my lever. If you guys remember the radius of my lever, when I enter in the radius area, it will appear the F to interact. That's what I wanted. If I didn't check the interactable option in there, when I approached the radius, it would play the animation of the lever. Sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want like a collectible that your avatar just needs to touch the collectible, the item. So you don't need to like put another step to it. But in this case, I wanted to put the F step. If I press F, the animation will play just like I set it up. And then this is what I'm gonna explain now, how to create these other animations in here. But basically, saying like before showing, it's also move, rotate, scale. It's also the same stage system that I'm using for the crocodiles. The only difference is that instead of being looped and auto playing on the start of the experience, they all are triggered by the same trigger, which is the same lever trigger, and they all have a different duration. That's why it appears one, then the other, then the other. So I'm gonna come back to the editor. Okay. Um, and okay. So you guys don't see the bridge now. Where is the bridge that we just created? Well, I place it underneath the terrain. The bridge is actually in here. Each of the steps are in here, and that's why you cannot see it from above the surface. So basically, this is a duplication of this object, which was generated inside of anitya. If I come here to the game mechanics folder that I have the bridge in here, and then you have three different wood docks. The first one, the second one, and the third one. They are all duplications. And the first one, we have the stage 1 in here, underneath the floor, and the stage 2 in here, above the surface. Same thing for the wood dock 2 and for the wood dock 3. And why it's not playing like the crocodiles from the beginning of the experience if I'm using the same component? Because the setup is different. I'm not toggling the play on start. That means that it's not going to play on the loading moment. I'm not using the ping pong animation that says it will move from stage 1 to stage 2, stage 2 to stage 1. I don't want that. I want from stage 1 to stage 2, and that's it. And also, I don't want it to loop. So I didn't check any of those. When I don't check play on start and duration, it appears the trigger configurations in here for me. And well, I want to be triggered together with the lever, right? This is a case where the trigger is not going to be the own entity. So basically, I need to select the lever, which is my trigger for the lever animation, and bring it to my trigger entity. And this will say that this action in here, the move, rotate, scale action, will be played when I use the lever as the trigger, when I use this entity here as the trigger. Now, I'm gonna turn on the visible collision. This is very important now, very important. Like when you have one object or one entity, it could be also an empty entity without having a 3D object inside, like it is this checkpoint that is an entity just with the transform. But when I have one entity, one element in here, using a trigger, being used as the trigger for a lots of actions, it's very important that I set up this trigger in all those actions equally. So I cannot have 20 radius here for this one and 30 radius for the lever. This will basically make, if I select two different triggers in here. So I will need to enter in this area, press F, enter in this other area, press F again. And we don't want that. So if you have one object to trigger a lot of other actions, it's very crucial that your trigger configurations are the same for all the actions. So the same for all the actions means interactable for all the actions, one shot for all the actions, make local for all the actions. Unless you want like one action to play only once, but another to be playing all the time using the same trigger. This is also doable. But in this case, I want to toggle this lever once and I want all these actions to happen together. So I need to put the same trigger radius, I need to have the same trigger entity, and I need to check the same configurations here. The visible collision doesn't make any difference in the play mode. This is just a debug for you. Not even debug, this is just like a visual representation for you of the trigger area, so you can know in the editor what is the area. In the play mode it doesn't appear. So what I recommend is turn on to make the setups and turn off after that, because when you have a bunch of transparent areas being loaded together and you don't have a good machine, let's say if you have a very low-end computer, then it's better to have less visual information to load together. So usually I turn on just to set up and then I turn it off. So yeah, basically I have in here for my wood dock the move rotate scale from stage 1 to stage 2 using in 3 seconds. In this case I use it is in and out, explaining again because I've heard a lot of people entering the call after. The easy type basically says if the movement is going to be linear, the velocity, the acceleration is going to be linear, or if it's going to start slow and end up like speeding up, or if it's going to start fast and then like fade out the velocity until the stage 2. So in this case I'm using easy in out. It says that it's going to start slow and then it's going to speed up and then it's going to stop slow until it reaches the stage 2. And how did I make it one appear after the other? If you guys remember, when I toggled the lever in the play mode, it appeared one entity, one dock, and then the other dock, and then the other dock, one at a certain point. I just put it different durations for each of those 3D and move rotate scale. So basically the first wood dock, it has a 3 seconds duration of the movement. The second one, 5 seconds duration, so it lasts like 2 seconds more. And the last one, 7 seconds duration. And then it makes appear one first, then the other one, then the other one. I could make it differently. I could make all the 3 docks having 3 seconds duration and changing the delay between them. And then the first one will play. If I put a 2 seconds delay in here, it will wait 2 seconds from my action and then play, and the other one. But I actually prefer to do the duration in the durations than in the delay, but you can also use the delay for that if you want to. But this is how I set it up. This game logic, you need to pass through the crocodiles. If you touch a crocodile, you come back to the checkpoint, which is in here. If you pass all the crocodiles, you can trigger the lever and then create the, oh god, again. And then create the stage system for the bridge. What I was talking to an user before this call, I was making a support session, and we were talking about how cool would be a game where you don't have the full map appearing in the game, you don't have the full 3D environment, and as you accomplish some quests, the map is being built around you. So imagine that you have like a place that you need to do something, to collect something, to find any, let me come back to stage 1, to find an asset, and when you find it, and then the rest of the city appears, and then you do another thing, and then appears the rest of the map. It will be very nice, and you can like, you will feel that you are building the environment as you are playing. So this is how I set it up, this logic in here. again. And just one more thing that is important, I also created the gamification for some audios. As you can see, I have three different audios from the bridge 1, bridge 2, and bridge 3. The audio file is the same, and I just used the same trigger configurations to play each audio, but now I used the delay. The first audio, it's wait 0 seconds, it plays instantly. The second audio, after 3 seconds, it plays, and the third audio, after 5 seconds, it plays. So when I hit the lever, you can hear it like, ooh, and then 3 seconds later, ooh, and then 5 seconds later, and then you can create a nice audio system also for your let me reactivate the sound for your experience. Playing one last time, and then I will open an empty experience to do a trigger from the beginning for you guys. But playing like one last time and explaining it all in the play mode again. And with the audio, I have a background global audio playing that is toggled autoplay and loop. So I have this music on the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, Rodrigo, can we hear the transmission, the screen sharing?
Yes, we're here.
Nice. So we have this global audio being played. We have the crocs with the teleportation and checkpoint again. This is like very easy. I literally created just for the explaining you guys. And in here, as you can see, we can interact. It's going to play the first audio, then the second audio, and then the third audio. As you can see, and then you can also create audio responsiveness for every action that you make in the game. So like imagine if my quest was to save some people that were in this village and they needed to reach the other side of the village, but I'm the only person that can pass through all those crocodiles. So I passed it through all those crocodiles. I could create a bridge for my NPCs, and then the village is safe and they can reach out to this part where they will find the resources to do whatever. So like you can create a lore also around it, and with very simple setups you can create a nice gamification. With a little bit of more time I could make it look also better, those crocodiles, but to explain it in here, the logic, I think it's fine. Before opening an empty experience, I'd like to know if you guys have any doubts. Oh, it's very full actually. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, nice. Hi guys, sub fam, know you so well, but Bruce waiting to be Spider-Man. Much about your work. I can't help it. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually very anxious to see what people are building. Remember that in our Discord here, we have a link to book a support session. So this webinar is gonna be online. If you guys need to come back to check again how to do any of those things that we are showing, you can come back to the YouTube video. But if you guys need like personal help, you guys have like, oh, I have a very like difficult idea that I want to set up, then you can also schedule a meeting either with me or with Gabriel. We have the link in here, and we can do it. Okay, so I'm opening this blank space copy that I was using to show to create in the support session some minutes before this call with Taipa. Is Taipa here with us?
Yes.
Nice. Yes, sir. Yeah. We were like, I was teaching Taipa also some game logics in here, and basically I created this very, very simple situation, but I will recreate it because I think it's actually very useful. I'm not even like making a bunch of groups in here and whatever. But basically, Taipa wanted to put collectibles in the scene, at least to create the idea of a collectible system. So now we don't have the UI for collectibles. This is something that we are currently working on, but you can create the feeling that the user collected something, and you can even attach an action after the user collected this item. So I used this flower as the collectible item, and basically I have it in here, a 3D object, which is the flower. Let me do it from the beginning. From the beginning, I'm gonna delete everything, even the flower. I'm gonna delete it. Spatial 3D audio, I'm gonna delete it. Yeah, this is how a scene starts in Anitya. So let's say I wanna collect an item, and when I collect this item, I will enable an elevator that will take me to the other level of my scene. So I can come to the objects, I have my nature objects in here, and then I have my flower in here, which is the item that I want to collect. One thing to make it feel that you are collecting it is adding a show height component. As I said before, inside of any element, you can attach components, you can add components. And this is a behavior component. Some components are medias components, I could add an image to it, but this is a behavior component. So I'm adding a show height component in here, and basically I need to select if I want this to be shown after I trigger, or if I want this to be hidden after I trigger. And in this case, I want to hide it. But remember when I said about the turning on a light? If I need to turn on a light, my light needs to start hidden, and then after I trigger it, it needs to show the light and boom, and then we'll create this turn on the light feeling. And I would need to select the shoe, but I'm selecting the hide because that's what I want I want my action to be. In here also I have the flower as the trigger entity. I already showed on the other experience how to use another entity to be the trigger action. We used the lever to trigger the wood bridge to appear. So in this case I'm using the flower itself. If I toggle visible collision, I'll be able to see my collision in here. And in this specific case, I don't want it to be interactable. I don't want it to be to need to press F. I want my avatar, my character, to just touch the flower, and then it will whoop, make the collectible. So that's basically here, visible collision, just to see it. I want it to be one shot, and I want it to be local. So this is very important. And I also want to add a global audio for collectible item. I think I have actually an audio here in my item coletado. Yeah, I have a collectible audio in here, just uploaded, and then yeah, as you see, this is my audio. So I wanna play this audio globally. Oh, this is very important also. The difference between the spatial audio that I showed before and the global audio is basically the spatial audio, it matters the position of the audio, because the distance that you are from the audio will make the volume be increased or decreased. The right and left position also makes a difference. The global audio is like playing a media in the YouTube or Spotify or whatever. It's literally playing the media, and it will play stereo in your earphones, and you don't need to worry about the position of it. I don't want it to loop. I don't want it to autoplay. I want to play only when I interact with the flower. So again, I need to set up the trigger. It's already set up to flower itself. You don't need to do what I'm doing here. I do it because I always want to make sure that things will work. And in here again, you have the visible collision to see the area that is creating to make it. What happens if I have a bigger radius than the show height action in here? Well, basically, when you approach this area outside, we'll play the audio, and then when you approach the area inside, we'll play the height animation. We don't want that. We want them to be played together. If you want to create something like that, it's doable. You just need to use other configurations. But I want it to be like one action for all the one trigger for all the actions. So I wanna use the same configurations I don't want to be interactable. I want it to be one shot, and I want to make logo. This already makes our collectible item works. So I have one item in here. It will be hidden after I touch it, and it will play the collectible item audio also after I touch it, and will make the user, the player, have the feeling that he collected something. But I don't want only that to happen. I want my collectible item also to trigger an elevator. Let's say that I have another level in here. And for that, I'm just going to basically use this floor. Not creating anything new for that, but like, let's say that I have this other level in here that I need to get there, but I can't now because I cannot jump that far. And let's say that I want an elevator. Uh, Guys, I could create an elevator here with the AI gen like I did in the last video. So if you are arriving here today, we have the video from the last session where I use the AI generation to create a bunch of assets. But since we only have 13 minutes now, I'm gonna use one of those anitya assets. And I'm gonna use, there's a rock that sometimes I use as an elevator because it's very flat, this one. Okay, so this is my rock item, and this is something that I can show to you that is nice. Like, as you can see, I need to collide with this rock, right? I need my avatar to jump in this rock and to use it as an elevator. So I need to turn on the collision. But the rock itself, it's not very flat as I want it to be. So I have some different types of collisions in here. I don't know if everyone already knows it, but some objects, depending on the case that you're using, it's nice to change the collision type. Usually, I only use the original or optimized. If you want to see the collision that is being created, you can also show the collision in here. There is a very thin line. I don't know if you all are gonna be able to see, but there is a very thin line in here that shows the collision mesh that is being created. But I also can use a box collision, and this will make this box in here, which also is the selection box, work as my collision. So now I had a more complex collision with more polygons to load, but since I just want to use it to be the elevator, I can use the box collision. Now I have only 6 faces, very simple. Sometimes you want to use it for a chair, for a table, that you don't want it to calculate all the collision. Then you put a box collision, it will create a box around the object, and it's actually even more optimized. And since I want to stand up in this rock and this rock will be moving, it's better to have a flat collision than to have a bumpy collision. So I'm using the box collision for that. Let me put in here my rock, my elevator, and then let me add a move, rotate, scale to it. And basically, again, how I was showing on the crocodile scene, you have the stage 1, select the stage 2 to set up your stage 2. Okay, this is also showing me that I need to get this floor closer. Okay, so I only changed the y-axis, nothing more, and I want it to be linear in that case. Also want it to last 5 seconds, and I want it to loop. I want it to ping pong, which means that it's going to go from stage 1 to stage 2, from stage 2 to stage 1. And each of these will last 5 seconds. From stage 1 to stage 2, 5 seconds. From stage 2 to stage 1, more 5 seconds. But I don't want it to play on start. I don't want it to load and see this action happening. I actually want my collectible flower to trigger this action. So I don't want it to play on start. If I uncheck play on start, I will see the trigger uh, configurations. And again, this is another example that I'm using another entity as the trigger, not the self entity. If I use the self entity, it will be there, but I don't want that. I want to use the flower entity. And again, I want to use the same configurations for the other actions, which is the global audio of the flyer collectible and the show hide for hiding the flowers. So it's one, the radius, it's not interactable, it's one shot, and it's local. So I can untoggle the visible collision again because I already see that it's in there. And basically what I'm saying is when I touch this flower, it's gonna disappear. It's gonna play a global audio of collectible item, and it's gonna turn on my elevator that is gonna be looping and ping ponging, so I can go to my next level. Let me play the scene. Let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, here we are. Here is my flower. Here is my rock. Disappeared, started my elevator. Now I can go to my next level. This is a very, very simple way. We spent like, I don't know, 15 minutes making it now. And you can make gamification paths and create like those different levels where you need to like find something, accomplish something, and now I can go to my next level scene. Okay. By the end, I'm gonna show the teleportation. Actually, I'm gonna try to walk through the smart elements in the 7 minutes that we have now, and then I can open to questions. I know we don't have time, but I think it's important also to for you guys to comprehend that. So let's wait for it to load. Wish.
Always when we are live, right? But
Always.
yeah, it's nice to see that see a lot of guys that are participating on the treasure hunt, so you guys can have a sense on all the work that is to create those treasure hunts. Um,
Exactly.
it's all based on this animation. You can see that you can create different lores, different uh, um, complex words, and the more complex, the more triggers that you use, the more tools that you use on anitya, hiding sounds,
Exactly.
teleportations, the higher your chances of winning the hackathon.
The
Creativity,
hackathon. Yes.
immersion, and interactivity are the are criterias for the hackathon.
Exactly.
And I've seen a lot of confusions here on the submissions because it all started in different platforms, and now we're now simplifying everything. So we're gonna create another landing page just for the hackathon. So uh, all the submissions and everything's gonna be considered this new landing page that we're gonna send it to all of you guys. We're gonna announce it on our Discord in the next days, later this week, yet. But the Earn program in parallel is gonna run as always, and there's always gonna be the quest there that you can send your words. And I said, correcting myself here, we have dozens of submissions to the hackathons and to these quests, but almost no one is using triggers and its complexity of the taking advantage of all complexity that you can create with the Nitya. So guys, stay tuned. We are anxious to see what you guys can create. We are also just reinforcing him. We are extending, as some people ask for more time. We're extending the deadlines through December 10th. This is gonna be final. This is gonna be the last one, and it's gonna be through all these landing pages that I'm gonna send. And also, we're gonna have another webinar next Tuesday to get these questions and answers from you guys, other doubts, questions that you might have. Also, other stuff that we can show here on Anitya to improve your work. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Victor, do you want to go through the last smart elements there?
I'm gonna just walk through the smart elements, and in the next hackathon we can dive into it. But basically, in here, if you see the smart elements, those components that we have, there are some types of gamifications and behaviors that you can use in your game. And yes, in the hackathon, the much you extract from Anitya, your like the chances of you winning it increases. So we have the teleportation, which is basically how I showed before. You can set up, you can check the visible collision, set up the area of this teleportation, and when your character touches it, it will be teleported to this destiny in here. So let's say that I want this other level to be my destination. I can just like drag it, and then when I touch the teleportation component, I will go to the next level. This is also doable. The starting point is the one that you already have in the scene. The 3D object you can also use directly from the elements in here. Global audio is the one that I showed, an audio that plays equally for everyone. It doesn't matter the position. The spatial audio matters the position, the direction, and the distance that you are from this audio. The rotator is also another. This is very nice actually to show for the collectible because it's nice. The rotator is this. I prefer to edit from here, from adding component, than from here. All those that are behaviors, move, rotate, scale, rotator, show height, I prefer to add directly in the object that I want. So the rotator does that. It makes it auto rotates. You can set up the speed. You can set up the X that is gonna rotate. You can invert the X that you want to rotate. So for collectibles, it's actually very nice that you have something like this in your scene. It's gonna rotate, and you can either make it play on start or set up a trigger as well. In this case, I want it to play on start. Image, it's images. A particle system, if you guys want to use as well, with a bunch of setups, gravity, the type of particles, if it's like a ring, or how do you create a trigger that only activates after multiple conditions are met? Well, in current anitya, it's a little bit tricky, but I can show you right now very fast. Just like walking through particles, a hyperlink basically is a link to another website. You can also use a trigger, and then when you trigger the hyperlink, it's gonna open in a new tab, another website. So if you're making your own portfolio in anitya, you might want to put hyperlinks in your object so it triggers to the project itself. Directional light is the sunlight. Text 2D and 3D is just a text box that you can write down whatever you want, as you see in here. Collision is a collision mesh, actually, is a mesh that is only a collider. So if you want to lock a place in the scene, you don't want people to pass through some area, and you want to create this fake wall, you can use the collision here and create this fake wall so people don't pass or don't fall in your scene. Grouping systems, I highly recommend not to use now because it's a legacy from something that we were developing to make scenes. In the next hackathon, I can explain how to use it, but it's kind of tricky, so wait for me to explain it. The video is video. You can set up the controls. You can hide the controls. If you are making a museum that you don't want people to be playing the video and pausing, you can hide the controls and the video it loops auto plays. You just need to attach the video. Point light is a point light. Is a light that is a sphere radius. Spotlight is like a flashlight. And in here you also have water surface, which is a water shader procedural that you can also change some of the configurations. And for the end, the move rotate scale that we already used. How I said, everything that is related to behaviors that are not like shader components, slash components, behaviors, I recommend to attach it from here in the attach component. Now, let's say that you need to let's say that you need to also to actually get 3 flowers to
Oh yeah.
make something happen. 4 flowers in here. Let's say that we're going to, this won't be an elevator anymore. Let me make this rock um teleportation.
Hey, Victor, we have an interesting question here from Noel that is how to create a
I'm,
trigger that.
I'm, I'm showing this,
Ah, right, right,
I'm showing
nice.
this. Yeah, I'm now showing Noel, actually everyone, Noel's questions. Let's say that this rock, which is a teleportation rock, when I touch it, I will teleport. Let's say that I only want it to appear. Oh, actually, I'm gonna do even something more tricky for you guys. Since you asked, let's do it something tricky. So let's say I have this huge portal.
Happy was telling me that there's this guy
A
that
huge
is
portal.
like his
Let me see
timer.
with this guy.
And Rodrigo, I think I'm hearing some background
He has
audio.
like
Someone, I don't know if it's from you. From...
I think it's meow.
stored
If you could,
Oh
Instacart.
no, it's
So you guys
Meowie.
have like
Yeah,
meow.
I
their
can
Can you hear
hear.
it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
well, you probably do, but it's not
Let
your.
me
No,
see.
I hear
I
your
hear your
background audio.
background.
Meowie.
Yeah,
It's
You could
basically
it's
mute
on
like
YouTube
DoorDash,
still.
yourself.
but it's for groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So
thank you a
basically, they
lot.
just deliver groceries from this grocery
So
store.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is game. You can see it like a couple of days, and he
So
like
basically
honestly,
here we have this teleportation area. Basically, if this teleportation touches my avatar, I'm gonna be teleported. And let's say that I want to teleport my avatar after I collect the 4 flowers. Well, this is kind of tricky, not gonna lie to you guys, because we don't have a presetted system for that. So we need to make like this workaround for that. Let's say that first, what I do usually is creating empty entities, one into the other. Noel, you asked for it, man. So, and each of these entity will change the position of my teleportation area here when I collect each of these flower. So let's say that I want it to end in here. Like this is where, man, there's so long since I don't do it. Let's say that this is where I want it to end my final teleportation. I want it to touch my character in here. Let me even make it bigger. Okay. So basically now I'm gonna add a move rotate scale into um, all of those empty entities that I have. So basically the first one, the stage one is -10, is back in there, and the stage two is in here. Same for the second one. Move rotate scale. Stage two needs to be 0. Stage one needs to be -10. Same for this entity. Move rotate scale. Stage two is 0. Stage one -8. Yeah, -10. And same for this entity. Stage one is 0. Stage two. No. Stage two is 0. Stage one is -10. So basically what I'm saying here, as you can see, every time that I collect a flower, my teleportation is gonna get closer to my character. So I have 4 move rotate scales for 4 flowers. Let's say in this first one, I want it to be triggered by the first flower. One shot, make local as the other one. Not play on start, we don't want that. And it could be 0 duration, it could be instantly. I don't want the animation of it. So the first one is this. The second one is triggered by the second flower. One shot, make local. Again, I don't want it to play on start. The third one is the third flower. What am I saying? I'm saying I'm adding -10 in the y-axis to each of these entities in here. And then I'm saying that each flower that I'm catching is bringing 10 up. And when I catch the 4 flowers, it doesn't depend on the order. In any order, it's gonna bring 10 up. And when I catch the fourth flower, it will be on the position that I want it to be, which is in the floor in here. This is the third flower, right? Flower number 3. And this is the flower number 4. One shot, make local. Don't want to play on start. So, like, seeing this happening. Here we are. I catch one flower, it's gonna go to stage 2. I catch another flower, it's gonna go to stage 2. I catch another flower, it's gonna go to stage 2. I catch another flower, it's gonna go to stage 2, and my teleportation is gonna touch my character and send my character to my starting floor number 2, which is in here. So, Noel, this is how I usually make chain reactions. Or like if I don't want the teleportation to appear, but I want another trigger to appear, if instead of the teleportation is an object, instead of the teleportation is whatever, it could be anything that it will only appear in the scene after I catch all the flowers. I do it by putting them down in the floor, like very underneath the floor, and putting move rotate scales that brings to the scene a little bit more inside of each of these behaviors here. So let's play it. Let's see if it works. It like I could let something unset it and it might not work, but I'm feeling that it will work. So let's wait it for it to load. Ta-da-da. Okay, so here we have my 4 flowers. Catch one flower, nice. Another flower, nice. Another flower, nice. Another flower, teleported to my other area. So this is basically how I set up. It could be not a teleport, but I could catch the last flower and then a 3D text appear. Ah, you did anything, you did something. Or I catch another flower and then instead of being a teleporter, it's just a trigger that will trigger an audio, that will trigger another thing, that will trigger a hyperlink. I catch 4 flowers and then I open the link to a secret website, whatever. Like this all, it can be done. And I usually use the move rotate scale to hide from the scene. I know it's not ideal, but since we don't have now gamification logic that allows us to create this collectible stuff, but we will have soon. We are working on it, but until we don't have, this is how I do it. It was actually a very very good question, and I'm pretty sure that all of you can come back to this video and watch it again to create this kind of
Yeah,
solution as well. So
exactly.
I'm
And
gonna wrap up. We are 10 minutes late. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah,
Noel,
it's like a nested.
that's a trigger. Exactly, and like you can always show the next flower if you want it to be a consecutive steps to show just after the if you collect the first flower, the second one is just gonna show up after that. You can always set the triggers for that. Yeah, it's already on YouTube. It's on Anitya channel. We also have a quest for participation in this webinar. So you guys, the code is triggers. So you can guys can keep evolving your world. So wrapping it up here, we are changing the process for the hackathon. We want more people to send and we're gonna create another web page for the hackathon submissions. I'm gonna send it here on Discord. Stay tuned, and that's it. Next week we have another one. If you guys have more questions, keep improving your words. Let's bring it to life. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Vitor, for the great explanations. Bye bye, guys. Let's go.
Bye guys, thank you all. Bye bye everyone. Thank you.